one of the most important things about this whole process is that you actually finish it, right?
Yes.
Because you will only get better by doing it again and again. And if you get stuck on the first part, you will never get to all the other steps, and you will never actually get better at those, So you need to finish it, right? And I think Stephen King once said that the reward is that you're done. It's not that it's good or bad. The biggest reward is, oh, it's finally done. I don't have to do this anymore. And I can attest to this, At the end of every one of my videos, like the ones that I do for my private YouTube channel, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm done with this. I don't want to see this video for one more second. I don't want to look at this.
This reminds me of my master theories. Okay, this reminds me of nothing.
Wow! Wow Happens with Stephanie Hitchens and Victor Kunzig.
Victor!
Steffi!
Give us your opening speech.
Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Wow Happens, where we're talking about why your videos are so terrible. No, they're not terrible, right?
What? My videos were terrible for a very, very long time at the beginning.
How long?
8 years.
Jesus. Okay.
8 years from I recorded my first video in a room in my apartment to I published my first video.
All right, that's a long way. And
my first published video was still terrible.
Well, if you don't want to wait 8 years to publish your first video, well, maybe this one is for you, because today we're going to talk about the individual steps on how to get to your first published video and how to make it not look as terrible as Steffi's first video.
Yeah, Victor, I think this is a very good description of my first videos. Wow, they were so terrible.
But why? Let's maybe go into the first subtopic here. Why were they so terrible?
For me, there were also a lot of insecurities about how I looked and how I sounded. And I think everyone who starts being in front of the camera can identify with this. But at one point, you get kind of over it. And then the real problems actually start. The problems you also can do something about. And so what I tried over the years is, at first, I thought I just can wing it. Like I put the camera in front of me, I pressed record. It had the screen so that I was like looking all the time at the screen and observing myself. But then like I thought I can just say whatever I want to say. And no, I can't. Because and then no, I can't say it like this. And basically I came to no end. And then I thought the solution is to buy a new camera.
That's an old gamer rule, If your aim is crap, it's the mouse, it's the keyboard, it's the screen, it's your GPU, the network.
It's the camera, of course, it's the camera. It wasn't me. So I spent $1,000 on a Canon camera. Same problems.
No, really?
Yeah, didn't change. Then, okay, after some time, then I gave up. Then I thought, okay, I need a teleprompter. But I didn't get that on a teleprompter that you write complete sentences. So I thought I can just write some keywords and then I complete the sentence. Yeah, guess what? That didn't help. What also didn't help was that I had only a teleprompter app on an iPad and it was actually next to the camera. So I was not even looking into the camera.
No.
And I remember this video I tried to edit afterwards. And basically at one point I realized every 3 words I need to put it to put a cut. And basically my timeline, it got shorter and shorter and shorter. And I had these great content ideas. It got shorter and shorter and shorter. And it had so many jump cuts. I was like, really, in front of the camera, I was like,
it could have been like that. Could have been a theme, like this is the style of Steffi's videos.
Yeah, but I thought, wow, this was really not watchable. Then at one point, I came to the conclusion, okay, I need more preparations. And I'm good on stage, or I'm also good in front of people explaining something with PowerPoint. And so I created PowerPoint slides for myself. And like, as you do it, like with the notes, I even had the bullet points, sorry. I even had the idea to show this on screen maybe. And yeah, that didn't work. Because if you look into the camera, I cannot look on the screen with a PowerPoint. And so I needed to start learning the bullet points. And of course, I thought I can do this on the fly. I remember, like, for one video, it should have been 5 minutes, I did 3 recording sessions of each 2 hours without any result.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. I don't want to say wasted, but
it's a lot of time wasted. It's also actually then nowadays you would record this in 4K. You have huge files without anything in. And so these were basically my first 8 years. And then the first time I recorded a video where I say, hey, this was actually good recorded. What happened? I wrote a complete script. I had a proper teleprompter set up, and I had someone observing me, and that made a difference for me.
So what's about that last part, somebody observing you, that made the difference?
It helps me if I'm not alone in the room. I think nowadays we too would call me a professional creator or a wannabe professional creator back then. And I thought, I don't have a team. I'm alone, so I do it alone in my room, and I have all the freedom and I can experiment. But no, it actually helped me when there was someone watching me. And also, like, not only watching in the sense of like second screening on the phone, but like thinking with me if this makes sense. And then I had the pressure I was knowing from other experiences, like being on stage or something like this. And then with the teleprompter, I was able to record the first video where I think, wow, yeah, that was okay.
I can publish this.
This I can publish.
After 8 years.
Took me 8 years. I thought something is broken with me. But this is maybe also something, like if you watch like a lot of creators and they look so perfect. No, they are not so perfect. And this is heavily cut, heavily edited, and it's also their experience probably was awful at the beginning.
Nobody's like, has a jump start in this, unless you have practiced this in some way or form before recording the first time. And I mean, like, as in, maybe you worked in theater or something like this. You have experience with performing in front of the camera. Like, unless you have that, the first time is going to be excruciatingly difficult.
Yeah. And even if you look at Mr. Beast's first videos, like, yeah, he is an insecure teenager.
Yeah,
right?
In his bedroom, making videos, dreaming of becoming big. Well, he really did.
So basically, I was completely overwhelmed. And what I should have done is to take apart writing the script, rehearsing before I record, and then record as short as possible. But this is not what I did. So if I would have done this professionally, what are actually all these steps someone should do?
Well, the first thing you have to think about is the idea of the video. Like, what kind of a video do you want to make, right? Which we talked a little bit more in detail in the last episode. But
the YouTube title test.
The YouTube title test, exactly. Just to clarify a little bit about this basically means that you condense the idea of the main essence of the video into a clickable YouTube title, which helps you narrow down the scope of the video itself. But that's the first thing you need to do. What do you want to make a video about? And the second thing is outlining it. What are the basic talking points that you have, that you want to hit, that you want to communicate to your audience, right? And then you go into the actual script writing process, like write it. And this is also easier said than done, because just writing it like the way you would normally write it, when you do this for the first time, you will quickly realize that what you write is maybe not the way that you exactly talk. And once you read it off the prompter for the first time, you will realize, oh, wait, I can't actually say what I wrote because my mouth is not making the correct pronunciations. to actually convey what I'm trying to say. And this, I also know from my own experiences, this was, very painful in the first
Can't
video.
I just do this all with AI? Do I really need to do this? I can ask Claude.
Yeah, but with all the AI stuff, especially when it comes to, I'm going to say, creative writing, right? It's a good starting point, but it's not your voice, right?
And I think this is really, really important. Another thing which we covered already in a different episode, people are not only coming for the content, like the thing they learn, they also come for the entertainment and because they want to see you. And
Yes.
if you are basically a ChatGPT puppet, then there's less what you have to offer.
Exactly. I mean, this goes a little bit outside of this topic today, but in the end, you need to break through the mold, right? And if you use what everybody else is using, you're going to sound and look like everybody else. You have to make it your own. Sorry, AI can't take that, help. It can help you, but it can't do the whole job for you. But after you finally, made the whole script, made it your voice, you have to actually set up a place to shoot, right? Whether that is your bedroom, your office, or like studio for what we have here. And then you need to rehearse, right? Because that's a big portion. Because once the cameras roll, it costs money. Because then you really are potentially multiple people that are there for the recording. And, time is valuable. So you need to have a moment before you actually record where you go through this. We do this as well, right? We sit together, we discuss the topics, how we want to say it, etc. So that once we record, we don't sit here for hours on end trying to figure out what we actually are going to say.
Just for the complete disclosure, we actually sat before this episode for like 15 minutes to discuss the opening. Which we could have done earlier.
It's still part, and I think it will always be a part of it, just sort of like to get into the, sort of like load the context into our memory before we actually start recording.
No, I mean afterwards. Like we loaded already, and then we had how do we actually do the intro?
Yeah.
But this is also like, this is actually really important because you always will have something in the next step that you will miss you should have done earlier.
Yeah.
And if you are then still occupied with, I need to figure out the basics, then everything falls apart. But sorry, I interrupted you and we are at the recording.
No. Yes, now after the rehearsal, we are at the recording where, you record, right? And this is actually, if everything goes well, the shortest part of the whole process, right? Everything else will take much longer, but the actual recording, depending on how long your video is, but I don't think you're going to make a 4-hour video, is going to be, a couple of hours tops. And then it goes into post-production or editing where, all the mistakes that we said are getting cut out and the video is being made to look very smooth and natural, right? Which is also a big process. And lastly, one thing that I always underestimate is publishing, right? If you think it's just uploading the video and then you're done, that is unfortunately not the case. You then have to come up with the actual final title. If you publish to YouTube, you might want to add 3 titles because you have A/B testing now, and it's, not a bad idea to actually use that. The description, the chapters, and then you have to make posts on other platforms, to promote the whole thing. Yeah, the publishing process is actually quite extensive.
I felt the publishing process so much that I probably blocked your close-up camera, by the way, because I was like, yeah, this is really like, I think actually all of these steps are underestimated, how much work they are. And like a video of like 20 minutes, you don't produce in 2 hours. That's just not possible.
Yeah.
It takes so much time. And you can decide where you put the most the work, but my recommendation is to do most of the work as early as possible because it only gets harder.
Yeah.
And so this taking these steps apart is also so important because each of these steps need different style of thinking.
Yeah.
So when you are in the idea step, you need divergent thinking. Like you need to open up the space of getting new ideas. Maybe I go in this direction or that or here, and you collect ideas. You do a brainstorming, and then over the outline and the script writing, you have this convergent thinking. Like you close the scope. You need to commit to different ideas and to actually go forward. And then at one point you have also the body, like the body feeling and how do I present myself.
The body language.
The body language, yes. But also how your body, like actually really how your body feels and what signals you should listen to in your brain and what not. And if you try to do this all at the same time, it's not going to work.
No.
And with our clients, sorry for this plug, when we have a new project with them and we coach someone to be in front of the camera, like when they start, in the moment they need to think about their words, their body doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Everything shuts down and they are so focused on the words, they don't have the capacity anymore to think about like, how do I use my hands?
And then they turn into these stiff things.
Yes, and without any dynamic in their voice and everything is stiff.
But I think like even if you say like, okay, each of these parts has their own set of way of thinking, it's important to not forget that you're making a video. And for this, I have an example. Like when I made my own videos, right? The first time I did them, I realized the whole script writing process didn't work because I wrote in a way that I couldn't say, like I couldn't speak that way, and then I changed it and whatnot. At some point, I got really into writing a certain way, and that worked for me. But I then forgot that I was making a video. So after I wrote the script and recorded the voiceover, I actually realized I don't know how to shoot this. And it's important to not forget in each of these steps that you're making a video, that these steps are connected. Yes, you need to think individually, focus on what you're doing right now, but don't forget, you're making a video, right? In the end, this has to work. And just to also emphasize something you said before, I also agree with the more preparation you do, the better, because yes, you can fix a lot of things in editing, but it's a pain in the butt to do so. The more you get right at the beginning, the less work it is later. And if you're trying to put together a puzzle piece with pieces that don't fit together at the end, it's also a waste of time, even if you did it for the 10th or 20th time. If you didn't prepare well enough, you're going to end up with something that you're going to hate. And then it's, you wish it was better.
Let's reflect on our podcast. How did our process evolve, and where do you see we have the biggest problems?
I think, especially in the beginning, we didn't really prep as much, right?
Yeah, we did vibe podcasting.
we did vibe podcasting. And
don't watch the old episodes.
Do watch them. No, but it's then at some point something interesting happened, right? We introduced a lot of structure, trying to sort of like better guide us through the episode so that we wouldn't go off the rails so often. But then it actually started to feel a little bit more stiff, right? Because yes, we vibe podcasted, but it was very natural. It sounded very natural, even though we talked about random things. But then it actually started to become much more restrictive. And it's important that at that point, you don't necessarily need to change something, because you will get more used to that structure. And eventually that structure will become natural. So don't be like, oh no, now I'm not natural anymore. Let's go back to vibe podcasting. I don't think that works. You will get used to your new format, and you need to give it time to actually sort of become natural. But I think like our process, well, it continues to evolve, right? We're not done. And you need to give it the chance to actually evolve as well.
Yeah, I also think that the biggest problems we had were in the preparation, and I remember the very, very first episode where we actually tried to have like detailed structure. We actually tried to use Gemini to help us with this, and it didn't work. And this, now you can see this episode. It's not published, dear audience. But we still have it in the archive somewhere.
Which we may open up one day. The Wow Happens vault.
Yeah, and then from there we went to a very loose setup and an unstructured way, and so this always evolves, and it's also important to adjust to what we currently need and to actually do this, and like so that we feel fine here while recording and that we actually really have fun, and not only need to play that we have fun. We would never do this.
I'm ecstatic right now. The enjoyment is off the chart.
But also that we have a point, and that we can communicate this point. And this is a discussion. If you are two people, you can have it with someone else together. And if you are alone as a professional creator, you need to have this discussion with yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like what you are doing, if you feel, hey, this is not good, your audience definitely sees this.
Yeah, they will notice it.
They will notice, they will hear it, they will see it, they will feel it, and you can't do anything about it. So how do we start? Or how does someone start?
Separate writing from recording. I think that's the biggest win you can do. If you don't try to do those things at the same time, you're going to win a lot, right? Because like we mentioned, talking to the camera for the first time and just thinking that you could come up with something might actually take you 8 years to publish your first video.
Maybe. Yeah, I think, and like writing for me today would mean complete sentences.
Yes, not
Like,
bullet points.
Not bullet points, not, and then at this point I will add this other sentence. No. Write every word.
Exactly what you want to say, write it down. And it will happen that when you hit record, you will want to say it a little different. Like I've had recordings where every time I did an attempt at a paragraph, I would change a word again. And like, no, wait, the other one was better. No, wait, the other one was better. This is okay. This is part of it, but you need to really bring down to paper what you actually want to say with your words, the way you're talking. Otherwise, you're not going to get off the ground.
And how you get to this, you can decide. It's your process. But yeah, for us, it worked with idea, outline, and then script.
Yeah.
But if you have a different process, figure out your own process.
Yes.
And so you don't need to do it exactly as we say now, but think about how you come to this situation. And then if you have like these different steps, this assembly line, you can also decide to stack them together and do like 2 ideas and 2 outlines, but only 1 recording at a time or whatever, like however it works for you. I think in the beginning, you can do this and work on multiple videos at the same time, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
Because you need the whole feedback. Like you need to see that you can create a complete video. And for this, you need to go as fast as possible through this process at least once.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who loves stacking and batching, go for it. So does every step need to be perfect?
No.
No. But I'm a perfectionist.
You will, if you do that, you will never end up finishing anything. It'll take you 9 years.
Yes, exactly.
Not 8, 9. If you try to be perfect, it'll take you 9 years. A decade.
Another aspect that it doesn't need to be perfect is that the process, these different steps, this assembly line concept, it will save you. Like you said it already, like in the recording, you maybe then figure out you want to say something differently and it was not perfect. But preparing a plan to almost perfection, let's say 90%, helps you to have the headspace in the next step to be a bit freer.
Yeah.
And yes, you don't need to stick perfectly to your plan, but step, like the realer the plan is, the better thought through it is, the more freedom you actually have later.
Yeah. And another aspect that like you said 90%, and I totally agree with this, because one of the most important things about this whole process is that you actually finish it, right?
Yes.
Because you will only get better by doing it again and again. And if you get stuck on the first part, you will never get to all the other steps, and you will never actually get better at those, So you need to finish it, right? And I think Stephen King once said that the reward is that you're done. It's not that it's good or bad. The biggest reward is, oh, it's finally done. I don't have to do this anymore. And I can attest to this. At the end of every one of my videos, like the ones that I do for my private YouTube channel, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm done with this. I don't want to see this video for one more second. I don't want to look at this.
This reminds me of my master theorist. Okay, this reminds me of nothing.
I think we can both agree that making videos is a lot of work, and it's a lot of hard work.
Yes. I'm in this video business now for 6 years, and I'm still surprised how much work this is.
Oh, it is. I have huge respect for any video production, genuinely. I think it's amazing, but it's tough.
And I'm surprised by every single person who wants to do all this. Because, okay, it's not Apple with Apple comparison, but a Hollywood movie, 500 people are working on it. And you, as a single person who wants to be in front of the camera and publish something, you want to push this all into one brain, into one person? Like, this is insane. And then also to do this at the same moment, it doesn't make sense. You need to take the steps apart.
Yeah.
Idea, outline, script, set, rehearse, record, and publish. And I think I said them all.
Yes.
And take them apart because they need different thinking steps. It doesn't make sense to do everything at the same time, and it will fail. And your single goal should be to publish this video.
Yes.
And I think if you don't have anything to add, I would say let's go to the wows.
Yes. What's your wow this week?
Okay, Victor, my wow this week is actually a to-do for you.
To do for me?
There is a new text editor app called Ample Notes.
Ample. How do you spell that?
I think like the German Ampel.
Ample Notes.
And I heard that it's like really good, but I'm currently not on the search for a new note-taking app. And so I thought I'd maybe hand this over to you.
I am always on the lookout for a new note-taking app. Although I'm very happy with Supernotes at the moment. I really am. My wow for this week is an ad blocker for Safari called Viper 2.
Oh yeah, Viper 2 is great.
It's really nice. It's very clean, works beautifully. And I actually convinced my girlfriend to purchase it because in an app it costs money and she usually doesn't.
Do you have like a family account? Okay, that's a different topic.
That doesn't work actually because of specific reasons. But yeah, Viper is a very good ad blocker. Compared to all the other ad blockers I had over the years, this one's really nice.
This is the ad blocker without ads.
Yeah. For real. It's great.
This is
Viper
so crazy.
2. Just use it. Like just download it. Get it. It's great.
And it works on Mac and iOS and iPad, on all of these.
All of your Apple devices.
All the same. It's so amazing.
Yeah,
I also use this. Not used this. I also use this actively all the time. For years already. I used Viper 1 already.
And before this starts to sound like an ad itself and we get blocked, what's not going to happen, I think we can wrap this up.
Yes.
If you have any comments or notes, please let us know down in the comments below. And thank you again and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.